on the computer. There you go. All right. Okay, lovely. We're going to start kneeling. We're going to come up to a high kneeling position. I'm just going to go onto the side just at the very beginning. You're going to start to press your feet down into your mat and to tuck your pelvis. Now, I've got a very nice thick mat, so if you need to grab a cushion to put underneath your knees or anything at home, then feel free to. You're going to roll your shoulders around for me. Let the arms hang by the side. You're going to close your eyes, and we're just going to start with our intentional breathing just to get us into the right mindset for our class. So we're going to inhale and widen our ribs. Exhale, let the shoulders drop. Inhale and widen. Exhale, feel those feet pressing a little bit harder into the ground. Good. Breathing in. Exhale, crown of the head grows that little bit taller. Well done. Okay, from here, we're going to take another breath in. We're going to exhale, lean over to the right, like we're just trying to touch the floor on that right side. Maybe your fingertips do touch the floor. You get a really nice stretch down the left and draw it back up to the center again. Going to the other side, leading with the head, just reaching down, keeping both hips level, finding a nice side stretch and draw it back to the center. Once more each side. So this kneeling position just means you can really feel if your knees are lifting one, then rather than keeping them both anchored. And you can probably see your hips, if they were moving one, getting higher than the other. Draw it back to the center. You're going to take your arms out to the side, interlace them behind your heads. Press your head into your hands, those elbows out at the corners of your eyes. You're going to breathe in here and exhale, drop down once again with this added weight of the arms and return back to the center on your inhale. Exhale, over we go, really lifting, good, and drawing it back to the center. One more to each side, really nice stretch for the morning. Over we go. And draw it back to the center. Last time, exhaling over and coming back to the center. This time we're going to go over and hold for a moment. Up and over we go. Now we're going to reach either one hand or two hands if we can out to the side. So we add even more weight. Make sure we're not twisting. The hips are forward. Bring the hands behind us and back up to the center again. We go over to the other side and hold. Check we're not twisting or pinching. Reach the arms out. Draw it back in. So we're just waking up the obliques, adding that weight to our sides to have to hold. Tilting over and reaching out. Draw it back to the center. Coming in one more time. Tilting over. No twist. We reach the arms out. Draw it back to the center, good, and back up again. Well done, really nice. From here, you're just going to nod your head and just really don't be frightened to apply pressure from the back of the head, from the back of the hands to the back of the head, just stretching out the neck. Doing that nice and safely. Then you're going to start to tip down, rolling down, let your arms find the floor and come back out into your 4-point kneeling position. Well done. Spread your fingers. And just make sure the insides of your elbows are turning to face one another. That just helps to switch on all down the side, underneath the armpits. We're also going to push our spine up between our shoulder blades, so we get this kind of puffed up feeling in the back. We're going to breathe in here. Exhale, nod the head once again, and tuck the pelvis at the same time. So we're rounding the spine, trying to get a nice even shape. Our upper back likes to round in this way. So it will probably give you more than your lower back. Then you're going to lengthen out crown of the head and tailbone. But you're not going to go in the opposite direction. We're not going into that sinking. We're just going back to our neutral position, our flat back. Inhaling. Exhale, pelvis tucks, chin tucks in, just rounding out the spine, pushing our spine up between our shoulder blades, finding that length, good. And then reaching out, tailbone, and crown of the head, opposite directions, but we keep them contained so we're using our abdominals. Just one more, breathing in. Exhale, tuck that pelvis, nod the head, round into your cat. Now from here, you're just going to rock your weight back, bring your arms by your sides, and roll your way back up to your high kneeling position again. Well done. We're going to go into waist twist. So we're going to start by just grabbing each opposite bicep. Okay, so we've got the elbows out in front of the shoulders. The elbows can move, but we're going to try and keep them in front of our shoulders all the time. So we inhale here. Exhale, rotating to the right, growing tall, pressing those shins down, pressing the knees down, pushing the hips forward and lifting up. We draw it back to the center on our inhale. We exhale and rotate. Really push that left hip forward as we rotate. And draw it back to the center on our inhale. One more each side. Exhaling round. And inhaling back to the center. Nice. Last time. Exhaling round. And inhale back to the center. Well done. Once again, we'll take those arms out. We take them behind the head, interlacing the fingers, resting your head into your hands. Elbows can be nice and wide, just as long as taking them wide doesn't pop your ribs forward. So you can do it as wide or as narrow as you want. We want to feel supported by our hands on our heads. We're inhaling. We're exhaling, rotating round, growing tall, pushing that hip forward. And draw it back to the center on an inhale. Exhale, rotating. So we're just adding a little bit more weight. Good. Draw it back to the center. Once more to each side. Waking up the spine this morning, moving it side to side, twisting it, and forwards and backwards. Last time, rotating round. Good. And draw it back to the center. Our final variation, my hands will disappear, but I guess you know where they've gone. We're reaching our arms up by our ears. Turn your palms forward and we breathe in here. Exhale, keep reaching up as we rotate. So just that extra weight, pushing the hip forward, and we draw it all back to the center again. Exhaling round, up and around, pushing that hip forward, and draw it back to the center again. Last time, exhale round, and inhale back to the center. Final one, exhale round, inhale back to the center, push the air away, bring your arms down by your sides again. We're going to go into little half squats now. So we're going to hinge back from the hips, bending at the knees, reaching our arms just forward to the front of the mat. So we don't actually get hips on heels. We tuck the pelvis, make sure we've got a nice long spine. We come up and reach our arms behind us, squeezing our shoulders. Reach those arms forward, lengthening out. Feel the bottom and the fingertips reaching in opposite directions and lengthening up. Just trying not to let that midsection dip down to our thighs. We want to draw it in towards our spine and really reach those arms now and lift up. Try and get the arms by the ears this time. So we're reaching forward, try and lift, but without that connection being lost in the center and coming back up again. 2 more times, reach it back, abdominals in. Lovely, lifting back up again. Last time, reach it back and hold. You're going to bring your arms forward. You're going to come forward into 4-point kneeling once again. Tuck your toes underneath. Lift through and up to a downward dog, pressing your heels down, stretching the backs of the legs. Walk your hands 1 step forward, 1 hand distance forward, I should say. And then swing your shoulders back up over your wrists again into your high plank. Bend your knees, untuck your toes, rock out of it into that low squat. Well done. Come up to not standing, kneeling, pushing those arms back. So little sequence. We come back to our squat. We tap forward, tuck those toes, lift back to down dog, forward to plank, knees come down, we go to squat, and we lift up. 2 more, we go back, hands come forward, tuck those toes, back to down dog, over and knees down, untuck those toes, come back to squat and stand tall. Last time, we go squat and hands forward. Tuck the toes, up to down dog. I forgot last time, over to plank. Knees come down, back to squat and standing up. Well done, really nice. We're going to go back through our 4-point kneeling position. So just come down, pop those hands down. You're going to swing your legs over to one side, come to sit and swing your legs all the way around. We want to scoot forward just so that we've got space behind us to lay all the way down, rounding our spines and coming back down to the mat, feeling supported now. We've gone from 2 points, just high kneeling, to 4 points, to now that whole spine nice and supported by the floor. So we're going to start off with our knees and feet together. Just squeeze those feet together in parallel, kneecaps shine up to the ceiling. Our hips are going to be nice and heavy on the mat, placing them down like a brick. We want it to be nice and rectangular. And we want to have the hip bones in line with one another. We want those ribs to be heavy. We want the head and shoulders to be heavy. We want to stretch our arms, our fingertips reaching down the mat, but without our shoulders curving in towards one another. So we're drawing our shoulder blades together on the mat, and hopefully you feel a connection in the center as we do that. We're going to start by lifting up through the heels. So just lifting the heels off the mat, and then we're going to fold in at the knees, pulling those knees in as far as they'll go without the hips rolling off the mat. So the meat of those of your bottom can come off the mat, sure, but not the actual hips. That's it. Then we're going to move the thighs away, toes find the floor, and the heels find the floor. So we're finding our hip mobility, our range of motion in our hips. Lift the heels up, pull the knees in, keeping your abdominals connected, just getting the fronts of those legs nice and bending. We bring the toes down, we bring the heels down. 2 more times, inhaling. Exhale, funnel the ribs down as you pick the toes up, drawing the knees all the way in, and then move the thighs away, toes come down, and heels come down. Last time, breathing in. Exhale, that squeezing of the ribs together helps you pull the thighs in towards you. Nice. And placing those toes down, placing those heels down. Wonderful. Reach your arms up behind you, then interlace the hands behind the head, exactly as we did in all of our kneeling positions. Okay, once again, elbows can be where you would like them to without the ribs popping out. However, in this position, it's a little bit nicer to have the elbows just coming out of your peripheral vision, just so you can feel their support. You can kind of feel that kind of like a collar all coming around the outside of you to support the back of the head. We breathe in, we exhale, tuck the chin in, lift the toes at the same time, crunch into that little ball, but you're not lifting your hips off the mat. So if you want to get closer to your knees, you need to curl up further and then let everything go away. Toes to the floor, head to the floor, breathing in. Exhale, nodding, tucking, pulling everything in, keeping those hips heavy and curling up further, getting a bit more of a spine stretch, a little bit like that roll down we did as you come down when we were in kneeling. We inhale, we exhale, nod, and squeeze everything in and roll it back. Well done. Last one. Exhale, nod, squeeze everything in, holding it here. Reach for your right knee and stretch your left leg out along the mat. Lower it down to the floor, getting a nice hip flexor stretch. See if you can't curl up a little bit more now you've got that kind of support of the leg. Lift your underneath leg, pull it back in. Stretch the other leg out. Lower it down. I have stupid bar in the way. Lift it back up again. Pull it in. Left leg out. Lower it down. Lift it up. Pull it in. Other leg out. Lower it down. Lift it up. Pull in. 2 more. Stretch it out. Are you still curled up, head and shoulders off the mat? Lift it up. Pull it in. 1 more. Stretch it out. Lower down. and lift and hold. We should still be in that little ball, bottoms heavy. Roll it back down. Well done. Just hug those knees, rocking side to side for a moment or two. Getting a bit of relaxation. Really nice. Okay, from here, we're going to start with our legs lifted. So we're going to have our feet about the same distance, same height as our knees. And we're going to open our knees. We're not going to pull in quite so far as we were when we were doing our little ball. We're going to come out, knees just above hips or maybe a little bit further in. But just as always, hips nice and heavy. Bring those hands back behind the heads, elbows where we can see them. We leave the legs in space for a moment or two, breathing in. Exhale, curl up. Reach your hands through the center of your knees. Try and make a point with your fingers and try and reach to your heels. Bring your hands back behind your head again and lowering down. Legs have stayed dead still. Exhale, curl up to those knees. Reach the hands through the center and maybe that pulls you up a little bit higher. Bring your hands back behind your heads and lowering down. Two more. Exhale, curling up. Reach those hands forward between. Good. Bring the hands back down and lower your head down. Last one. Curling up. Reach those hands through. Bring the hands back down and lower down. Hug your knees into your chest just for a moment. You can open the knees as well now. Just give your inner thighs a little break if they've been switching on, holding you. Breathe in. Exhale, bring those legs back to the same position, reset the hips, get them nice and grounded. And this time we're going to use the legs as well. So we bring the hands behind the heads. We inhale, we exhale, curl up. As we reach those arms forward, you're going to take them to the outside of the knees. This time you're going to reach your legs forward. So you keep curling up here. Everything's reaching away from you. As you bring the knees in, keep the arms where they are. Stay curled up. Then bring your hands back behind your head to come down again. Exhale up for one. Everything goes forward, including your head and shoulders for two. Pull just the knees in. Three. Roll everything down on four. Exhale, one. Reach everything out, maybe peel a few millimeters further. Bring just the knees in, staying curled up. Bring your hands behind your heads and down. Two more. Curl up, one. Stretch everything out away from you. Leave the legs in space as you bring your hands back behind your head and bend your knees, rolling down. Last time. Curl it up, one. Stretch everything out towards. Good. Bring the knees in and roll yourselves back down. Well done. Really, really nice. We've got one more variation here. Getting quite warm. It's probably going to be another weird muggy day for October. All right, so we start with those legs in their double knee fold position, toes connected, knees wide, hips heavy as always. Interlace the hands behind the heads. Breathe in. Exhale, curl up. This is our start position. Reach our arms forward. I lied. This is our start position. We take the legs out and we take the arms back by the ears. So we reach out, double leg stretch, bend at the knees and reach the arms forward again. Reach the arms back by the ears, bend at the knees. You can really pull those knees in once again and reach the arms back. But this time you're really going to make sure those hips are nice and heavy. As the arms go back, you stay curled up and we press it down again. Two more. Inhale, everything opens. Exhale, we close it all back in. Last one, open it. And we close it all back in. Good. Hug those knees in. Roll yourself back to the floor and stretch those legs all the way out. Nice long line with the legs, but keeping them active. So we point the toes maybe or flex them, whichever feels more stable for you for your roll-ups. So once again, before we start, we'll reset the body. So when we've stretched these legs out, for me, it's made me kind of flare my ribs and pop open there. So I'm just going to reconnect my bottom two ribs to the mat, definitely. Maybe more of my ribs will connect in as well, but definitely those bottom two. And it means I have to almost have this slight tucking feeling of the pelvis, which is really hard when your legs are long. Reach those arms up above your shoulders, palms facing one another. So imagine you're holding onto a yoga block or a box in your hands. You're going to inhale to reach your arms back, gathering your abdominals as you do so. So that weight goes overhead, but you don't respond in your bodies. Then you're going to reach the arms forward again, nodding your heads, looking to your toes, peeling the head and shoulders off, bone by bone, reaching all the way forward through to your spine, stretch position, and restack back up to a tall spine. Keep reaching the fingers forward on your inhale. Exhale, tug of war. The pelvis tucks underneath you, but it doesn't look like anything's moving because you're really trying to stay upright. Reach those hands forward. Feel like your shoulders are really splitting and wrapping around your spine until the head and shoulders find the floor. Reach the arms back by the ears. Inhaling. Exhale, reach the arms forward, nod the head, curl up. If you find it hard to curl up and roll up off the floor, grab hold of the thighs, bend at the elbows, and really use those legs to help you come up. Then you can shoot the arms forward. Good. And restack back up to the top position. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhale, that pelvis slides underneath you. That first part of the movement is hardly visible at all as you roll back bone by bone, placing each of your vertebrae on the mat one at a time, reaching, inhaling. Exhale, close the ribs, reach the arms forward, nod those heads. Again, you can either keep the arms forward in front of you or grab hold of the legs at the side, pulling yourself up and then reaching your arms forward. When you get there, restack and lengthen. Last time for me, please. Breathing in. Exhale, imagine I'm holding those hands. You're trying to get away from me as you pull and tuck your pelvis underneath you. Rolling down to the mat. Lovely. Reach those arms back by the ears on the inhale. Exhale, bring the arms forward. Nod. Rolling your way up. Lovely, well done. Squeezing, reaching forward. Enjoy that spine stretch at the end. That's the best bit. Let's stay here for a bit longer. Let the hands just drop to the floor beside you. That might be beside your hips, your thighs, your knees, your ankles. Just nod that head. Looking back, let the shoulders drop. Breathe in. Exhale it out. Really nice. Breathing in and exhale out. Good. You're going to roll onto one side, whichever side is best to see, because then on the other side, you'll obviously just remember it all, no problem. So you're going to come down properly. No, you're going to come onto your elbow, I'm sorry. So elbows directly underneath your shoulder and those knees are bent up in front of you. You're going to pull that elbow in and stretch out your top leg. So you're reaching out, just your big toe resting on the floor. Then you're going to lift everything up away from the floor. So you're really going to gather up from underneath your armpit and your ribs. So you're thinking diagonal line from under your armpit down to your hips. Take your spare hand, bring it behind your head, and just take a look down at your hips. It's probably that top hip has rolled open. Just make sure it's stacked on top of the underneath one. You're going to look straight ahead now, or if like me, your neck is an issue, you can look over your shoulder, so the one towards the ground. Then from here, you're going to lift your leg, nice and simple, leg lift, and lower it down again. Lifting that leg up and lowering down. And we lift and lower. Each lift of the leg has no effect on the position of the body. That's where the hard work comes in, pulling those ribs up and down. We go for 3 more, lifting and lowering. 2 more, no weight in that leg when it comes down. And last one, well done. From here, we lift the leg up and hold. You're going to pull your knee in a little bit like we were doing on the floor, drawing it all the way as far as you can without your pelvis tucking underneath you and you sinking into the position. Then drive it away, stretch it out to that leg lift position we've just been practicing. Feel free to watch the journey of your leg, purling in, so hinging and creasing at your hip, and then pressing away again. We just don't want that pelvis tucking underneath us. So almost push your bottom out as the knee comes in, and then drive it away again. Pull the knee in, pushing that bottom out, trying to stay long in the side of the body, and pressing away again. 4 more. Pull that knee in. Once you're happy with your position, you can go back to whichever head position you were going for before, keeping the underneath leg heavy for 3, and reaching out, and 2, and reaching out. This one we're going to hold in front of us. So really check that your knee to hip is a nice flat line. I could balance my cup of tea on the side of the thigh. We're going to extend out purely from the hamstring and then bend in again. So we leave that knee up in front, we extend, and we bend in again. We keep lifting for 6, and in, lifting underneath us, I mean, and 5, and in. Keep going for 4 more, and lovely. And 3 more. It's only this hinge at the knee. Last 2. Well done. Hold this last one out there, flexing the foot. We lift the leg here and down, really building the heat now for 7, and down. And 6, if your hand's getting too much, you can bring it down in front of you. 5, and down. Keep going. 4 more. We're nearly there with this variation. 3 more. Well done. We go 2. Yes. Last one. Hold it here. Drive the heel back to our very first original position. Point the toe. Draw the knee up in front of you. Extend it out. Flex the foot. Drive it all the way down. 2 more times. Pull the knee up in front. Extend it out. Flex the foot long. That leg last time. Up. Extend it out. Lower that leg. Well done. Let it come all the way down to the floor. Push yourself up and wrap that painful leg over the top of the bent leg, taking a twist. I think the stretch is worse than the exercise when you've built up that much lactic acid. Oh, well done. What a way to start the week. That's it. Stretch back out again. We get to lie all the way down now. So we're coming all the way to the floor, once again, feeling supported by the floor. But once again, setting ourselves up beautifully. So we've got our head and shoulders in one line with our hips. Then our feet come slightly forward of that line. So you're in a really shallow L shape. It's not that L coming up at 90 degrees. It's only about 20 or 30 degrees in front. We're going to make sure, because we're now, yes, we're supported, but we're balancing on a very slim part of our body. We haven't got a lot of our body in contact with the floor. That spare hand comes in front of us. However, if you start to feel nice and strong, you can pop your hand on your hip or even overhead, but make sure you don't clap your hands together overhead. You keep reaching them overhead. We're going to start by lifting the top leg once again, but just to hip height, not very far at all. We squeeze the inner thighs together, so the underneath leg comes up to join your top leg, and we lower both legs down again. Lift that top leg, squeeze the inner thighs together, and we lower both legs down. Lift the top leg, squeeze the inner thighs, lowering down. Lift that top leg, squeeze the inner thighs, and lower down. Lift that top leg, squeeze the inner thighs and lower down. Lift that top leg, squeeze the inner thighs and lower down. 2 more. Lift that top leg, squeeze the inner thighs and lower down. Last time. Lift the top leg, squeeze the inner thighs and lower down. Well done. We're going to lift both legs together. So keeping that hand in front of you, breathing in Exhale, reach the toes away from you and up. Both legs together and lowering down. Squeeze and reach those toes away from you and lower down. So we're really working the top side of the body here rather than the legs. Yes, the legs a little bit, but mostly the obliques at the top. Squeeze and lift and lower down. 2 more, squeeze and lift and lowering down. Last time, we squeeze and lift and we lower down. Squeeze, lift, hold. So we're going to start with those legs lifted now. Flex both feet. Take your top leg behind you, your underneath leg in front of you, and then switch them over. So your inner thighs brush past one another as we do this kind of scissor motion with our legs. The upper body remains still. If I could only see your upper body, I'd think you were just lying there, having had enough of Pilates today. And swishing and swishing. Last 3, and 2, and bring both legs down to the floor, relaxing. Well done, guys. Roll onto your backs once again, and we'll go into some spine curls. So one side of your hip should be feeling a little different to the other. Don't worry, we're going to even ourselves out in a moment. From here, we just keep the feet planted on the floor, hip distance apart this time, arms reaching down, middle fingers trying to tickle the back of the heels. Obviously, they're nowhere near, but it's that activity in the arms that we're after. We take a breath in. Exhale, press your lower back into the mat, picking up your hips, rolling, 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 sending the knees forward and keeping those bodies nice and long, knees, hips, and shoulders. We breathe in here. Exhale, pull the ribs down, pull the waist down, pull the hips down, and we fully release back to neutral. We inhale. Exhale, funnel the ribs down, tuck the pelvis, picking everything up, rolling up, send the knees forward, open the fronts of the bodies, breathing in. Exhale, pull the ribs down, pull the waist down, pull the hips down, and fully release. Breathe it in. Exhale, funnel those ribs down, picking up the hips, peeling everything off, send the knees forward, opening the front of the body, breathing in here. Exhale, drop the ribs down, drop the waist down, drop those hips down. Good. Cross the right ankle onto the left knee as if you're about to do a glute stretch. So your right knee is kind of dropping open and your left foot is in contact with the floor still. Just move your left foot in slightly towards the center of the mat and slightly closer into your body. So you just feel a little bit more secure standing on that one leg. We breathe in, we exhale, tuck the pelvis, we roll up here, single leg spine curl. And as you roll up, you might feel that your knee can press further down towards the floor as long as it's not taking your right hip with you. So you want to just get a bit of a glute stretch here. Roll down through the ribs, through the waist, and through those hips. 2 more times. Breathing in. Exhale, tucking, rolling, lifting, really finding that standing foot, that standing bottom cheek, and roll back down once again. Last time. Breathing in. Exhale, tucking and rolling and lifting up. Good. Rolling back down. And well done. Untangle. We just take the left ankle onto the right knee, opening. And we do the same thing. 3 spine curls here. Breathing in. Exhale, tuck. Roll. Lift up, opening the front of the body. Breathing in. Exhale, drop down through the ribs, through the waist, through the hips, and fully releasing. We breathe in. Exhale, tuck, roll, and lift up, opening the front of the body, breathing in. Exhale, roll down through the ribs, through the waist, through the hips, and fully releasing. One more time, breathing in. Exhale, tuck, roll, and lifting up. Breathe it in here. Exhale, roll down through the ribs, through the waist, and through the hips. Untangling, hugging your knees into your chest. Breathe in. Exhale, nod the head, roll yourself up to seated and swing your legs round to the other side, or just roll to the other side, do whatever you need to do. Stretching out the other leg, staying up on your elbow, getting ready to do our leg exercises on this second side. So once again, bringing your hand behind your head, just checking your hips are stacked, only the big toe in contact with the floor with that long leg, and then we lift everything up and away from the floor, elbow underneath that shoulder. We lift the leg and we lower it down. Nice and simple to start for 7 and lowering down. Good. And 6 and down. Well done. And 5. Good. Lowering down. We go for 4 more and down. And 3 more and down. Last 2. That's it. And last one to hold. We pull the knee in. We can bring it beyond the hip line if we want to, as long as we don't round the spine or tuck the pelvis. And then we drive the leg back to its lifted position. Pull the knee up and stretch it away, lifting the ribs away from the floor. Pull that knee up and stretching away. 4 more. Pull that knee up and we stretch it away. 3 more. Pull the knee up and we stretch it away. Keep that underneath knee nice and heavy. Keep lifting up and away from the floor, trying not to dump into our shoulders. Last 2. Driving away. Last 1. Pull the knee up and hold. Puric hamstring here. We extend out and we bend the knee, pull it back in. Extending out. Bend at the knee, pull back in. Keep lifting those ribs. And out. And in. And out. We go for 4 more, guys. Reaching 4. And in. And 3. And in. 2 more. Out. And in. Last one stays out there. Flex the foot. Lift that leg up. And down. And 7. We're nearly at the end of it now. Keep lifting. Ribs away from the floor. 6. And down. And 5. Keeping that knee nice and heavy. 4 more. Good. And 3 more. Lovely. Last 2. Yes. Last 1. Well done. Lower that heel down. Draw the knee up in front. Extend it out in front of you. Drive that heel down. Draw the knee up. And extend. Heel goes down. Knee up. Extend. Last time. Heel down. Knee up. Extend. Grab that leg, cross it over the front of your underneath leg, pushing up and around. Grow tall. That's it. Find that twist. Ooh. Great job, guys. Breathing in. Exhaling. Really nice. Okay, we get to lie all the way down now, Kirsten. So stretching the legs out slightly in front of us. Lying all the way down. That's it. We get those hips to stack one on top of the other. The feet come slightly forward off that position. And the hand just rests lightly down onto the floor. As we go on, if you wanted to take your arm overhead, you'd be very welcome to. So we start by lifting that top leg just a little, only to hip height, no higher. Squeezing your inner thighs together, so lifting the underneath leg to join and lowering both legs down to the floor. Lift that top leg and squeeze and lower. Keep going. Lift that top leg and squeeze and well done. Lifting and squeezing and lowering and lifting and squeezing and lowering. Keep going. We lift Inner thighs squeeze. And we lower. 3 more. Lift. And squeeze. And lower. 2 more. Lifting. And squeezing. And lowering. Last time. We're lifting and squeezing and lowering. We now lift both legs, double the weight. We reach the toes away, have that feeling, and lowering down again. Reach the toes away and lowering down. Reach those toes out and away and lowering down, really trying not to swing the legs behind us. That gives us the idea that they're lifting, they're just arching the back. We've got 4 more and lowering down, and 3 more and lowering down. We do just 2 more, really nice long line, Kirsten, good. Lowering down. Last one, hold, flex those feet, take the top leg behind you, the underneath leg swishes forward, and we switch, and we switch, and we switch, and we switch. Last 4, going switch, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lower everything down to the floor. Well done. Roll onto your tummy. We won't be here long, so don't worry if you just roll away from me, that's fine. We bring our hands just either side of our mats, just slightly in front of our shoulders. Spread those legs so that they're about mat distance apart. Take a moment to breathe in. Exhale, gather the ribs, gather the abdominals, lift the back of the head up off the floor, push into the floor, lift up, lengthening those arms. Then you're going to lower your way back down to the floor again. So just a nice big back extension, back bend, breathing in. Exhale, lift the head, just squeeze the shoulders together, lifting up. Good. And lowering down again. Last time, breathing in. Exhale, lifting up. You're going to hold here. You're going to lift your hips up, push back to a nice big child's pose. Stretch the arms out. Lovely. Send the hips back, knees nice and wide. Well done. Tuck the pelvis, roll your way up to high kneeling. If you want to scoot round and face me, you can. We've come back to where we started in our high kneeling position. Well done. We're going to take a breath in here. Exhale, just nod the head, roll the spine forward. Just let the arms hang. So you won't roll very far. It's literally just kind of letting the head and upper back round forward. The arms will hang. We inhale. Exhale, roll our way back up again. Open the arms out to the side. Big circle, reaching up. Bring the arms down in front of us. And we are finished. Well done. Great job. Here we go. Crawling our way towards the cameras. Well done. Just going to stop.